Welcome to Wine Road, the wine, when, and where of Northern Sonoma County. I'm your host, Marcy Gordon, with Beth Costa, Executive Director of the Wine Road.
Thanks to Ron Rubin, we're able to keep our podcast rolling along. The financial support of River Road Family Vineyards and Winery allows us to keep recording, keep sipping wine, and keep sharing stories with our listeners. Check out their website at riverroadvineyards.com and explore their Chardonnay, as well as a finely crafted Pinot Noir from the Russian River Valley. That's riverroadvineyards.com. And hey, thanks, Ron, for allowing us to make this show happen.
Welcome to episode 250. Today our guest is Diane DiRoma, and she is the Vice President and General Manager of River Road Family Vineyards and Winery. Welcome, Diane.
Hi, so excited to be here today.
We're excited you're here, too.
I'm excited. It's episode 250. That's amazing.
Oh, that, too.
Congratulations.
I'm like, holy moly.
That's incredible.
And our patron saint, Ron Rubin, is who, River Road is Ron Rubin's winery. And so we're really glad to have Diane here because it is very connected to the podcast. We wouldn't be here without River Road and
kidding.
Ron.
Mm-hmm. So it's a pleasure.
So I think we should start by talking about what we're drinking. What did you bring us?
So very excited. Our newest innovation, we did a white jasmine sparkling tea from the Republic of Tea. It's 100% white tea, and it's gently scented with jasmine blossoms.
It smells amazing.
The aromas on here are fantastic.
Like I'm on vacation
It's
suddenly.
incredible. This is something you could wear behind your ears and on the pulse points.
Surprisingly, someone has already said that. Yeah, I think for us, we were very excited about this project. It was a passion project, definitely spearheaded by Ron. I think connecting the Republic of Tea, which a lot of people do know, but for some that don't, same family owns the Republic of Tea. And so that's always been in our DNA. And just there's so many synergies between tea and wine. And we love educating on that. And this is something that, obviously the non-alc business has grown. And
it's huge.
And for us, it's really about, we've been doing the glass bottle teas since 1997. And with that was always, those were always
a long time for what that was, yeah.
And they were always designed like a fine wine, right? They were meant for that customer that wasn't drinking wine but still wanted a premium beverage that paired well with food. And so those have been, we've had that in distribution since 1997. And this project for us, we just launched it. We're in just under these are launching in about 200 total wine and mores. And it's really meant for someone that wants more options and more inclusive. And it tastes just like it's beautiful, right? The aromas on it, the effervescence.
It's such an interesting category because it tastes like tea, but it's effervescent and sparkling, and it has, the components of tea, but it's just like this oomph to it.
Right.
And it's really fun. I love this, and the scent is just incredible.
See, and I think it's so much lighter than tea. So to me, it's very much like sparkling.
Yeah.
I mean, I drink a lot of sparkling.
Well, that's the thing. A lot of people, this is 100% white tea, which is the lightest
so
tea.
Light.
Yeah. And this was
fresh.
Sourced, from the Fujian province, which is, for us, that is where true white tea originated from, and that's where we sourced it from. And white tea generally can be very delicate.
Yeah, it's so soft.
Yeah,
it has a delicateness to it. It's wonderful. So you got your start at Republic of Tea.
Yes. So I can't believe it. In June, it'll be 20 years.
Wow.
So,
Cheers to that.
That is really amazing.
Raise a glass to that, Diane.
Diane.
That's incredible.
Thank you. I feel very fortunate, and I go to work every day being very appreciative. I think if, I once heard someone speak about working for a company for a long time, and they made a comment, it didn't feel like it's been that long.
Right.
And I can honestly tell you that's exactly how I feel.
Because it's innovative.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I was looking back, and it's like I've had probably 5 different roles under the Rubin family, and just the opportunities and just learning and always what's new. And that I've always been attracted to that. I think that for me, that competitiveness and drive that Ron brings every day kind of ignites me. So I'm that to me is very attractive from a personality standpoint. It's like I engage in that. I like it. It's, you want to get better.
Right.
And that, it's that constant innovation and improvement. It's that we never rest on our laurels. We just keep improving and keep going. I mean, being a B Corp as one of those tenets as well, like all the things that Ron believes in, it must make it just, every day is going to be something.
I think that you're drawn to it or you aren't. I mean, either it's too much and it's difficult, or it just pushes you to do better. I mean, I think it's exciting.
Yeah, that's an actually really interesting point, because there is a fine balance that we talk about all the time, because it's the bus doesn't wait.
Right.
It's like, especially in, the wine industry is very unforgiving. Mm-hmm. And it's like, if you're not constantly thinking ahead and constantly wanting to improve and get better, your neighbor is.
Yeah, they're going to leave you behind. Yeah.
Yeah. So we work really hard with our team, and just from a cultural standpoint, kind of coaching them and teaching them about, continuous improvement, to really look at it as wanting to get better. And there's a trust built that, you're doing a good job, but we have to get better, to get to, thinking about something bigger than yourself. And we want to continue to grow. That you got to kind of check your ego at the door, for lack of a better term, and understand, okay, we need to improve on this because it's affecting this, this, and this.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a lot.
So you're also, as well as the VP general manager at the winery, you oversee the bottled teas as well.
Correct. Yeah. So our glass bottled teas during, because it's been since January of, technically it's December 11th, 2011, when Ron purchased the River Road Family Vineyards and Winery. And so, we took that first year and kind of figured out, okay, what is this about? Like, how can we grow? And one of the things was we had this bottled tea business, and then that fell under me as well, because it went through the 3-tier distribution model.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So our bottled teas go through normal wholesalers in the wine industry. So if we were ever, from a distribution standpoint, looking to kind of keep the businesses under one piece, that's kind of how it happened.
Right. It's logical.
Yeah.
And a very good way to catch up on Ron Rubin's life and all this is his book, Gold in Your Backyard, which is an incredible story of how he came to get Republic of Tea, how he created and found, everything in his life is like some synchronicity or some kind of like, it's like a bell goes off and things fall into place, and how he found the River Road and RR, River Road, Ron Rubin, there's all these things. And then he built this beautiful winery on the principles of feng shui. So it's kind of fascinating. The book, I highly recommend it. It's such a great story, Ron's story of, how he got where he did. And it's all principles that people can use building their own businesses. So it's...
I think also, for me, one of the takeaways from the book is that he always just found who's successful at this and just reached out. Like he wasn't above getting advice or asking questions. And I think so many people hesitate. Like if your competitor down the street is great at this, you hesitate to ask them why, what they're doing. And Ron just wants to know,
Yeah, I think that I think one of the things is it's fun for me when I read that book, because I was like, oh, I remember this story. For me, it was just remembering car rides that we take together.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, yeah, I remember that. And I think one of the things that filters down is don't be shy.
Right.
Because if fear is the number one thing that's just going to prevent you from getting something done. And I think one of the greatest things that he's taught me, and I'm so glad you brought that up, is the fact that just pick up. Do you know how many times he said to me, Diane, just pick up the phone?
Right.
Why, just pick up the phone. And you know what? The minute you do that, things shift and they change. And I think, one of the things is if we want to learn how to do something, we're not afraid to pick up the phone and ask.
Yes.
And I think that is how you get things done.
That's what I thought reading it. And then dealing with Ron myself, he has sponsored this show financially. And the first time it was kind of a fluke when I asked, and he was interested and he loved the podcast, so he did it. But then for me personally to have to go back and ask the second year, I was mortified. I thought, I don't want to I don't know how to ask for this sponsorship. It's a lot of money, it's like, and he was like, why would you not ask? I'm like, I don't, I'm embarrassed. And then like the third year, I wasn't sure. He goes, "Are you not asking me about sponsoring?" I said, "Well, I've already done it a couple of years." He goes, "I deserve the right of first refusal. If I can't do it, I won't do it. But you should ask me." So
That's Ron. Yeah.
Okay. Like, okay.
Yeah. I think this podcast has been very special and important. You know, it's one of his first favorite ones. And I think he really enjoys listening to it. But also, I think for all of us in the wine industry, it's, I think you have the timing right. It's fun. There's interesting conversations.
Right.
And who doesn't like to hang out with you guys for a little bit,
I don't
right?
know. Everybody.
I mean, it's like a no-brainer.
We are fun.
It's a list of people.
And we'll drink wine in the morning. I mean,
Right. How can you go
we're
wrong?
hard to beat. I don't know. It seems like you always have something new happening there.
Yeah, I mean, I think that if it's innovate or die, right? Like, I think it's something that you always have to think what's new or what's coming and be inquisitive. And sometimes it's about, for us at the winery, it's like, we kind of treat innovation also in how it's not just about the product. It might be how we do something.
Right. How can we do something differently?
Yeah. So culturally for us, it's like we constantly talk about, okay, are we, it's continuous improvement, but also having that thought process provoking to think, okay, can we do it better? Is there a different way we should be looking at it? Because if there's one thing over the years that drives me nuts about our industry that I love so much is when you ask the question, well, why is that? No one seems to have an answer. It's like, well,
because we've always
just
done it
the
that
way
way,
it's been
and
done,
that's never
Right.
the right answer.
Yeah.
right. So, for us, it's like, well, let's blow that up then. Like, who cares? Like, I don't, it's like, if someone hasn't done it that way, then that gets me excited. I'm like, that means you're probably doing it the right way.
Right.
I don't want you to do it the same thing.
Right.
Yeah, Ron has a disruptor mentality.
Right.
He's
you have
about
to.
disrupting into improving and innovation, but that's very much a tech mindset. He approaches that with that very much, we're doing this within a way that we're going to re-envision it, reimagine it, but the bottom line is it's going to make business sense. So it all comes together that way, and it's just amazing.
And you guys have a pretty small team. I mean, you've got a lot of things happening, but it's like there's not a ton of you.
Correct. Yeah. So I think that's one of the things that I think for me, it's like I'll always be a coach at heart. So how we kind of approach it is, I'm there to make people better because that's really what a coach does, right? And it's like, we do a lot of cross training. We do a lot of, one of the biggest things is understanding how you impact other people, right? So, sometimes these lessons are painful, right? And sometimes, there's some maturing to happen. But I will say I'm very proud of our team. I think they respond, right? And you can't, the minute you let up once, you're done, right? So it's like, it's really about that. Holding people accountable, but really understanding, well, you realize when you do this, this is what happens. And it's about something bigger. And I think the team has become very resilient and has learned to respect each other in a way that, okay, I need to get this stuff done. Because the number one thing, if you can instill in people, is the accountability from your counterpart. So
you impact other people, yeah.
Right. So the minute, if someone's being a knucklehead, right? It's like they know it's going to come from me, but if I can teach them and get them to understand when their teammate holds them accountable, it's much more powerful because there's this, it's like there's a little bit more
it's a peer-to-peer
right, that's
connection.
Correct.
It's the pebble in the pond.
Yep.
Those rings radiating out, your behavior, how it affects everybody.
Oh, 100%.
How that you have to be partners in every way.
Yeah. But I think the fun thing is when you start to see the team understand and getting them to buy into wanting to hold each other accountable.
Right. Yeah.
That's the key. You know what I mean? Like that piece of it, when you can do that, it's like, okay, that to me is like the hardest part because then the other stuff is like more learnings and technical and
making
stuff
it feel
like that.
integrated, and it's just not even thinking about it. Now it becomes a part of the daily culture and what you do automatically.
Yeah.
So tell me about your coaching history.
I think for me, basketball was my first love, and I was very fortunate where I was able to get a scholarship and play at UMass Lowell. And
Wowza.
Yeah, and I went on to coach there with
Wow.
Kathy O'Neill. Yeah, so I come from kind of a different path where I was all about, that was my true love. And I had very good mentors. I think throughout my career, I've been very fortunate where I've had people that I've been smart enough to be around people that have such integrity, but also make it about something bigger than, playing for Kathy at UMass Lowell it was bigger than basketball, right? It was about how you held yourself,
Right.
the community, like we did, there was just so many things. It was just so much bigger. And I think that's one of the things where for me, working for Ron for so long, I've been very fortunate because, everyone talks about his innovations and this, that. When people ask me about him, it's more about who he is as a person and his integrity and how he holds himself and just, I'll never forget. We were at actually a Republic of Tea sales meeting, and it was October of 2011. And he's like, "Do you want to go for a walk?" And I was like, "Okay." Right? I was just like, "Let's go for a walk," right? And we walked outside, and we were in the parking lot, and he was like, "What do you see?" And I'm looking around, and I'm like, "All right, I know this is a quiz.
Yeah.
Does everyone have something?
so
If
gonna
you
fail
know
this.
him, right?" I'm like,
What is the sound of one hand clapping?
Yeah.
I'm like, "Is there a color on each car?" Like,
Right.
I'm like trying to figure, and I'm
Right.
like, "Vehicles, like cars?" And he's just like, he goes, "I see families
Oh.
and responsibility of how important
Oh my
j-"
gosh.
And so when he told me that, he said, "I have a new adventure that I want you to come with me on," right? And I'm like, "Okay, what is it?" And then he told me about the winery and things like that. And when I look back at that day, it wasn't so much the excitement of getting to go with him and build something really special. It was about how he looked at things. And
Right.
it made it very clear to me how important it is because, we are a debt-free winery. It's very important that we're very sustainable. We have responsibilities to our employees because they have responsibilities and we see their family, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's about something so much bigger. So I think for me, when I talk about Ron, that's how I see him.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, how lucky are you?
That's
Extremely, yeah.
that's powerful, really, that little story.
I've just always missed out on that basketball scholarship. That's one of my only regrets in life. I didn't
So
get that.
close, huh, Marcy?
It's funny because it's like, for me, there's really no difference of running a business or running a team. And it's, I was fortunate when I played at UMass Lowell and went on to coaching my very first year. Kathy had sent me to a coaching academy. And it was, back then it was Don Meyer. And for some people might not know that name, but he was actually the winningest coach in NAIA history. Like
Wow.
he was he was like the John Wooden of NAIA. And he would have these coaching academies and coaches would come in like Pat Summit, Patino,
Wow.
like these really well-known coaches. And I was fortunate when I went, it was Rick Majerus, and he was a very successful collegiate coach. And I think his last job might have been at St. Louis. He was at Utah. And he was like, he walks in and you can see all the coaches with their notebooks
Yeah.
and they're just waiting. And
Yeah.
he goes, "All right, everyone, I have the play that's going to win you a title." And everyone just is like, you could hear a pin drop.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And he's like, "There is no goddamn play.
Yeah.
It's all
Yeah.
about fundamentals,
Right.
guys. Like,
Right.
get your
There's
shit
no
together."
magic,
Right? Like,
right.
it's all about fun. There is no
Yeah.
secret.
Right.
Right. And so I think for me that really stood out. And, it's like when I think of the synergies of mentors that I've had in my life, like it's like there's always this similarity, and it's like the commitment to education and that continuous learning and not being afraid to, like, Ron and I were talking, he's like, "Are you going to go to the Wine Market Council new thing?" Da, da, da. Like, just that's
Right.
continuous.
Gotta learn. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the minute you let up, it's like, someone else is learning, right? So, like, that continuous drive to get better and better.
That's what makes it fun.
Yeah.
I mean, to
For
me.
sure.
Well, continuous learning is a wonderful thing. I've
Oh,
always
yeah.
loved the job. I always go into something that has a steep learning curve.
Right.
So
Right.
something like the wine industry where it's almost unknowable because of the constant, different challenges and changes, it makes it worth doing because it's constantly learning. And wine is an endless learning pursuit. So for me, that's what I've always been attracted to in wine. It's a constant knowledge. You know, I love that. Now, are you originally from the East Coast?
Yeah, I was born in Boston.
Wow.
And grew up. My dad's family. I come from an Italian family, and so my grandfather.
DiRoma.
Yeah, so typical. It's like in Rosendale. So there'd be like this, one of the streets, and there's like 6 houses, and that's where they all lived, right?
Oh yeah.
So one day, my dad wanted more privacy, so it was my mom, my dad, and my sister. We went and we moved to Lakes Region area in New Hampshire.
Oh,
so
pretty.
then, so we grew up there, and then I went to high school in Belmont, and then from there got recruited and just got very lucky because
I'd like to be able to say that one day. Yeah, I never got recruited. I never got recruited for anything ever.
I think it's one of those things where I loved basketball.
Yeah.
It was one of the things I just loved and got very lucky and got very, I injured myself my senior year in high school. And so a lot of D1 schools withdrew their offers, and then a couple of D2 schools, and UMass Lowell was one of them. And she was like, I've offered it to you. This is your, if you want to still come here, you have your scholarship. Right. And I was like, oh, thank God. I was like, because I didn't know what I was going to do, so had my knee reconstructed, and then when it was my freshman year, and then the 6th game of the season. And this was a very competitive school where it was like, we were ranked nationally, and we were, it was a lot of pressure. And 6th game of the season, I went up and I knew it right away. I came down, I blew up my other knee.
Oh.
And I thought, I'm done, right?
Yeah.
Like I was embarrassed. I was done.
That's horrible. Yeah.
It was like the first few minutes of the game, and I'll never forget that moment. So it's halftime, and I'm like hobbling. And Kathy came right up to me and was like, we've only played X percentage of games. You've only played in fit. We'll make the NCAA team. You're going to redshirt. You'll get the year back. You'll have surgery before Christmas. And
she's got it all figured out.
That's it, right?
Yeah.
And I just thought,
wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I thought, there was no pity,
No,
it's like,
you're seeing it disappear. Yeah.
Right. And then for me, that taught me, that moment I think was very pivotal for me, because it was like, okay, things are not going to be easy. And I never got injured after that. And I played 4 years.
Also, her belief in you
was
beyond your own expectation. And it seems like that's like a coaching lesson there, how she really instilled in you, this is going to happen, you can make this happen. And you did.
It's okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think, it's like, and when you kind of translate that to business, it's like, things go wrong.
Yeah, you have to rebound.
It's like there are going to be times that things get messed up. We're all human, right? And I think the most important thing is how we react and how we handle it when things are bad. Because anyone can handle things well. When things are going great, everyone. But it's really about your, how you hold yourself when things are down. And I think that's one thing that we try to focus on, and staying like, okay, we try not to make the same mistake twice, and we keep moving forward.
Right. Well, how did you get out here? A bus? No.
Right. I hitchhiked, yeah.
I was saying,
You hitched all the way with a basketball in one hand.
She's too young. She wouldn't have been hitchhiking. Yeah.
So I was, I was coaching for a while, and I just thought, is this going to be my life? Because it's very insulated. And for people that know that world, it's like you live in a gym, and which isn't bad, but I just thought, God, am I going to be able to do anything? Am I going to do anything else?
Right.
And then I had a good friend, actually. I started, I was in Florida. Then I moved to Florida with a good friend of mine. And then from there, they introduced me to Southern Wine and Spirits.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, who is
interested?
Southern? I had a neighbor, right? And the neighbor was like, oh, you're
Were you living in
competitive.
South Florida?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Fort Lauderdale area. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm from Coconut Grove, Coral Gables,
cool.
where I grew up.
Right on the Davie line, right there.
Yeah,
like
my
State Road.
family knew the head of Southern Wine and Spirits back in the day.
Yeah, so that was I had no idea. Like, I was like, who is this company? Like, I had no idea, right? And in Miami, right? So it's just like, so you can imagine, like, if there was ever a time I was like, did I make a mistake? Should I have gone? Should I have left coaching? It's what I know.
Right.
There was confidence there. People would say to me, it was like, there was a little bit of haze. They're like, because it's like, you don't know what OI means. You don't know what by the glass
I would
means.
say
like,
you don't know all that. Yeah.
do you know? And it's like, what do you know? Like, and it was I remember thinking, all right, I'm either going to suck it up and go through this and figure it out, and I just stuck it out.
Right.
And it was a good learning experience for me because first of all, those days were like, you make your numbers. Like there was
So you were in wine sales
those
going
days
door
are
to door.
Yeah, I actually
those are still the way they are. Yeah.
Yeah, I started liquor and then from there went on to wine.
And what was your territory?
So the on-premise liquor was when I first started, and then I got promoted to on-premise wine, and I had Miami and stuff like that.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was like
Well, that would be a sink or swim, man. That's,
like it was, and I learned a lot. I mean, it was like,
and that's not an easy market.
No,
because there's a lot of cultural things going on there, and it's in flux a lot, and you have a lot of different diverse groups in the restaurant community coming in, and
right. So I think for me it was. I think I learned the respect of my team because I just worked so hard. I think if there's one thing that you can control, you can't control so many things, but I could control how many accounts I went to. I could control if I was paying attention, how to say, if I was not afraid to ask questions, if I, would ask for help. And I think that's the biggest thing. So many people, I mean, the one thing I try to teach is ask for help. Like,
I agree.
It's okay. And it's like kind of showing that it's not a negative to ask for help. And I'm like, I ask you guys for help all the time.
Smarter. Yeah.
I was like, what? I go, it shouldn't be, I go, it actually is a sign of confidence.
Yes.
And it's like you're focused on the task versus you, right?
Yeah.
And that's, I think sometimes people get in their heads, right? It's like they think, oh, if I ask for help.
I think it's a sign of weakness.
Yeah, and I'll just figure it out.
not.
It's like, well, you can just figure it out, and it takes all
strength.
day, and you've wasted time and energy, and
100%.
probably isn't right to begin with. So just ask.
Yeah.
I don't ever understand not asking.
Yeah, and then had an opportunity to move to Northern California, and then saw our posting for Republic of Tea, and I'd never heard of the Republic of Tea.
That's crazy.
And
was this like in a newspaper back in the day?
Probably.
Yes.
Probably. Yes. Yeah.
And I hadn't moved yet, and I was like, well, I'm not sure, and I wanted something a little bit healthier at the time, right? Because back then in the liquor business,
My gosh.
Well, you have to drink with every client and drink.
Right.
Yeah. It's like a whole thing.
Especially especially that. So I was like, well, maybe I want something a little bit healthier. And I was like, what is the I'd never heard of it before.
Right.
And I remember it just happened. My boss at the time was based in Southern Florida, and she had a lot of respect because she knew I worked for Southern at the time in my territory. So we hit it off. She was fantastic, Barbara Perry. And then I remember sitting down and interviewing with Ron, and it was really.
I can't imagine.
Well, and it was the first time we had met, and we're sitting there, and I just remember he brought a bottle of tea with him. I was so enamored with the bottle.
Yeah.
I thought the bottle was so beautiful,
Right.
and I'd never seen anything
Such
like
innovative
that.
packaging.
Right.
And
Oh, I thought it was gorgeous. And then he was like, "So you hold the record for free throws in a game?" And
my
I was
gosh.
like,
Yeah.
"What?" And this was
That is so Ron.
right. And I was like,
You'd have to really research that then.
right. And I was like, yeah, how do you, I was in there. I couldn't believe how much he knew about me without meeting me first.
you got a B+ in
Friends
economics.
with
Yeah.
the CIA. Yeah.
Right. And so, and I really, in that moment, just thought, he's really interesting.
Yeah.
And I loved the pack. And I just thought, okay, we'll give it a shot.
So did you have to toss the bottle into a hoop?
Yeah.
I'm surprised he didn't make me do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm surprised.
Don't
too.
give him any ideas.
Really.
What a story.
Yeah.
I know.
So it's been, I mean,
You're coming up on your anniversary.
I know. I can't believe Pam always laughs. That's Ron's wife. Because I'm like, oh my God, that's my longest relationship, 20 years. Like, this is great. My wife doesn't think it's that funny, but yeah.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
20 years. My gosh. Yeah, that's an achievement. You look way too young to have been anywhere for
That's what
20
I was
years.
thinking.
Well, you guys are so kind.
No, but that's, I mean,
No,
that is true.
I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, that's very kind. So I think for us at the winery and just kind of what we like to do is just focus on continuous improvement, focus on the community, trying to, especially in these times, just be better.
Yeah.
it's not hard to be a good person, right?
Right.
It's not hard to be kind to each other and lead with a little bit more empathy and just think about something bigger than yourself.
Right. I have Ron's, his 50 lessons or whatever.
Yeah, sure.
I'm always looking at those and I always think, oh, I'm such a failure at so many of these.
No.
Like I really should pick this up a little better.
No. I think
I should learn these lessons better.
No, I think
He's so good at.
He's great, and I think he would be sad if he heard you say that. I think there are things where they apply. Not everything is, not everyone can do all the things, but I think it's about effort and just,
Right.
I think it's there for people to. If you haven't read the book, it's such a quick read.
It is a quick read,
and it really, if there's one chapter that people, I hope. People think about is mentors, and Tanya, my wife, we have two sons, and they're actually sophomores at Niagara University, and they're in the theater department.
Wow!
And we're so proud of them. I can say that because I don't listen to this, right? So I don't want their heads to get too big. But the one thing we always, what's very important to us is the mentors. Like I'm always like, maybe mentors. They're very important. When they were in high school, it was like, they're high schoolers, right? But I think they're starting to realize somewhat the importance of that. Everyone comes to points in their life that you can literally go either direction. So it's like if for me, it's like. If I look at Kathy in that moment, she could have. I mean, nowadays the way collegiate sports are, she wouldn't even have talked. Yeah, I would have been out. Yeah,
right.
I wouldn't even probably went there. Right, like the risk is too high.
Yeah.
Like she took a risk, and I think that when you can find people like that and be around people like that can help you kind of see it a more positive direction when you maybe need some help seeing that is so critical.
Yeah.
And college sports is a huge business now.
No.
It's so different from back in the day. It's just it's a whole industry. It's all about the bottom line and the.
It's sad.
It's very different. It's
it's interesting. A couple of my teammates and I went back in February, and we watched a game, and we all just kind of looked at each other and said, "Oh my God, I'm so glad it's not us right now." Right? Because I think there's a couple of things like the transfer. That's something that happened that's new. It's called the transfer portal. So you basically, if you're an athlete and you're not happy, you can just go into a transfer portal and any coach can start recruiting you, right? So it's like it just makes it so much easier. So keeping teams cohesive and how you're coaching them and building the things that we've been talking about that are so important, it almost changes it because you don't have the time, right?
Right. It's just about gaining what you can gain and the loss of the team aspect altogether because it's all free agency.
Right.
And that really disrupts that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you think of the ages, when you think of that, you think of how old are these kids?
Yeah, they're
right?
18, 19, 20
and
years old.
And they're going into the workforce.
Right.
So, because what percentage of, when you think of, if you take the 300 plus on top of that Division II, if you took all those athletes, the percentage that actually go pro.
Oh, yeah, it's so minuscule.
So you think of all these college athletes now that are going into the workforce and trying to impact businesses in a positive way and stuff like that. Well, if they're not happy, well, and they're just going to look for another.
I'm going to transfer out.
They all need mentors.
Yeah.
And Ron should start a mentor boot camp.
Yeah, that's actually a good idea.
I know.
That.
Well, we'll talk.
Oh, Marcy, she's
I think
filled
so.
with good
I always
ideas.
have good ideas.
But
I think it is a good idea.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. We always talk about, we don't have a wine club. We get, over the years, people are like, how do you not have a wine club? Like and it's just like, Ron and I will have these talks and it's like, well, how are we going to be different?
Right.
Because we're not going to do a wine club just to do one. I can tell you that right now.
Right.
So it's like we always try to come up with these ideas about how do we use, tea and wine education. We try to be different. But the mentor thing is interesting to me. So maybe
there's Ron, from my mouth to your ears, I know you're listening to this. I want to be involved in the mentor boot camp.
Right.
I think it's
I'm not kidding.
Really,
I think it's great.
With his wherewithal and the branding, and I mean, gosh, that's a moment waiting to happen. We'll talk.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Me too.
I just love the
because that is the most important pillar of his whole philosophy. I think.
Okay, I think we need to wrap things up. Anything else we need to talk about?
Love our friends at Total Wine and More. They're just fantastic human beings, and they've been very supportive. This was actually spearheaded by a team member there because it's love the idea. And so, it's in about just under 200 stores right now and available. So, and it just launched as well on the Republic of Tea website.
Cool.
Yeah.
So we'll put all the details in the show notes, how to reach the Ron Rubin Winery, Republic of Tea, and probably through that website can find where to buy this.
Yeah, we'll put that
And
on
then
there.
don't forget about the mentor
And the
boot camp thing that
mentor
you're
boot
working
camp.
on. Don't think I forgot about that.
I'm not going to forget about it.
Okay, I do want to mention before we wrap up, I
thought you were done.
I have one Wine Road thing to mention. This is the 50th anniversary for the Wine Road, and for April, for the entire month, all of our members have these big signs that say, Wine Road 50th. And if you see one of those signs, you snap a little selfie with yourself in front of one of those signs and share it on Instagram and tag us. I think we're picking 10 names in May of people that we've seen sharing this. And they're all going to get a $200 credit for any Wine Road tickets that they want in the next year. So, you could get a $200 ticket. That's pretty awesome. We just want to see people sharing the little selfie signs. So that's it. That's all that I have for today.
All righty. So great to have you here, Diane.
Oh my gosh, it was super
we
fun.
don't see you often enough.
I know.
You're welcome anytime.
Yeah.
And thank you for having us.
Yeah.
And do you live in the area? Do you live in Sebastopol? Or?
I'm trying to talk my wife into that. No, we live in Novato right now.
Oh, well,
That's what I
still,
thought
that's
you
really
lived
Yeah,
nice.
we're close enough. Yeah. We have to get together soon.
Awesome.
Sounds good. Okay.
All right.
Thanks for listening.
We'll see you on the Wine Road.